But so mortgages and real estate, that's one way how we foresaw this monetizing. Job board. We also want to do it's where I'm blanking on the word. Basically, we have like two people from every industry and every niche pay like $50, like a preferred vendor list. There you go. Trying to think
So
of
I
it.
would, so yeah, I'm thinking of that as a directory. Is that what you're thinking?
So when I hear directory, I'm like, oh, dog park directory.
It would just be, so what I think is just local business directory.
Yeah. So that
Yeah.
already exists. So it already exists. Our Chamber of Commerce already has a website with all of this, but it's every business that's a part of the Chamber of Commerce. Our angle would be like, these are the most trusted two financial planners in Mount Juliet. We've vetted them. These are the two most trusted plumbers in Mount Juliet. We've vetted them. But they all
Yeah.
pay us $50 a month, $100
Yeah.
a month. And before you know it, that's 2-3 grand of just mailbox money. Now, how do you actually vet them? How do you make it to where it's like the legit two best ones, not
Mm-hmm.
just the two that are willing to pay you?
Mm-hmm.
We haven't sorted
Yeah.
out yet. So we haven't really like done it yet. But that was another big play as far as like, oh, this is another way we'll monetize.
Yeah.
But like the details of that, like we can't really
Mm-hmm.
figure out just yet.
Yeah. No, I think you're on to something in general, as usual with this stuff, right? It's easy to kind of have good ideas in general, and then you get into the weeds of like, oh, how do I actually pull this
Yeah.
off step by step?
Welcome to
And
our
yeah,
life.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's true of a lot of business, right?
Yeah.
I think that's why most people just lean on the concept of the full direct business directory, and then people would pay just to be at the top of it, right? So if you click on
Yeah.
plumbers, just like a Google ad, right? The top two would be the guys who paid, and then the rest are there. One of the big benefits of this is the fact that I don't. It's supposedly relatively easy. Again, I haven't done this yet, but is you can automate creating the entire directory where it can basically go scrape Google and automatically put them
What
in
with
your
like the
directory.
Chat GPT operator, the 200
I don't
person?
even think you need that. I think there are tools that let you do this like easily. The ChatGPT operator is super slow and like probably not great for this kind of thing, but I think that's why, I got an email from a guy I follow. I actually haven't even read the whole thing yet. I'm excited to. He literally just launched his like how to build a 7-figure directory kind of course or whatever. And again, I think the reason it's so exciting is because you don't need businesses' permission to put them on it, right?
Yeah.
They're already on Google, scrape Google, put them on there. Then you send them the link that says, hey, look, I put you on my directory. Aren't I such a nice guy? Hey, by the way, if you want to be at the top, it's only $50 a month or $100 a month and you get to be at the top,
Okay. All right.
That's
So
that's the idea.
you've got three. The top is only so small. So you got three people who are willing to pay you. You make $150 a month. Like, is that worth it?
Well, for every industry, I mean, it could add up, right? Yeah, so
So
it's a
yeah. So
directory
if
for
you go
all
to home
business.
services, you've got three. If you go to financials,
That's
you've
right.
got three. If you
That's right.
got restaurants, you've got three.
Mm-hmm.
Et
Mm-hmm.
cetera, et cetera. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right. Yep.
yeah.
And then you could even charge, again, this is all theory, right? I haven't done this, but on the homepage, you could have, 3 or 4 businesses. And it's like, just to be on the homepage, that's $500 a month, whatever the number is.
So we're building
Yeah.
an app. So that was one of the things we were going to have in the app. Is the preferred vendor list, but now you're making me
Okay.
think, oh, you could just do it as a
Yeah.
directory instead of a preferred vendor list.
Yeah. Again, it's not that your idea is bad. I haven't thought through that a ton, although I wonder if there's just an issue with, how do you actually do that? And then with only 2 on there, by having so many businesses on it, you can get them to share it, right? It's like, hey, then maybe if nobody wants to pay you, just say, hey, if you start promoting this on social media, I'll put you at the top for a month for free, or
Yeah.
what, there's all, you now have the ability to trade things and it just
Right.
gives you more leverage where if you only have 2, then is it as valuable? I mean, in theory, it's valuable for the reader, but does that make it harder for them to find it? Pros and cons, no matter what.
I mean, that's a good point. Yeah. So like, it's questions like that have made us kind of have this idea for 6 months, but never really actually do anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, plus, even if you did know what to do, it's still hard. I know I want to do this directory thing, and I spent like a week looking at it, and I was just like, oh my God, this is too hard. I'm not doing this. I was kind of hoping with Beehive's new website builder and designer, there'd be something directory related, but I'm in there right now, and there's not now. Hopefully soon. Are you using Beehive, by the way?
Yeah.
You are. Okay. Wait, tell me a bit about real quick your acquisition strategy. Are you doing Facebook? Are you doing something else? Obviously, you're already in the group, which is cool. But what else?
So I can't even say we've done Facebook ads.
Really?
We to get started, we made a Facebook post and then we like boosted the posts. But it's
Okay.
like, and then we went into like, I don't know if you're there's like two ways to run an ad in Facebook. You can go to the actual like Meta business sweep site thing where it's like you can run like there's your campaigns. There's like it's like the professional dashboard.
Mm-hmm.
But then you can also go to like just a random post and like run ads from that post. And it's like a much more scaled back version. It's like you don't get to create the target audience. You don't get really get to create anything like that. You just really say go. And that's the one we did. And we've been told like that's not the way the real players run Facebook ads.
Yeah.
And we're too dumb. We're like, really? We're just
Yeah.
it seems like we're still running ads. So we did that at first to get to like 150, 200 subscribers, and then it was referrals only ever since then. And now we're at the point where we're like, dang, okay, we want to get to 10,000 by the end of the year. We got to run Facebook ads. But we want to do it, if we're going to spend some serious cash on this, we want to do it the right way. But like, can't figure it out. Like,
Well, that's really interesting. So you're telling me, let's step back for a minute. So you have 3,400 subscribers. Are you saying other than 100 or 200, you've gotten them all organic, essentially?
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's really interesting. Most people are not doing that. So first of all,
Yeah, we've
congrats
done
on getting that
several
many.
referral contests where we'll partner with a
Okay.
business and say, if anyone who refers 3 people to us gets entered in for a chance to win X. We've done that maybe 4 or 5 times.
And that works?
Do what?
Yeah, it works?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Interesting.
big referral contest giveaway. Oh yeah.
This is something that I actually believe you that it works. That's awesome. I need to do this myself because I think that can work really well, especially, and I want to ask you here in a second, on social media like Instagram, when you kind of incorporate both. In my case, I want to grow the Instagram a lot, and I think giveaways can actually help grow really fast on socials, less so on the newsletter, but still work. Is that what you were doing, or were you pushing Instagram growth too, or just subscribers?
No, just subscriber growth. The Instagram, well, I got my Instagram blocked. Have you ever blocked your Instagram throughout the day?
No, I don't look at Instagram,
It's a
so it's
game
not a
changer.
problem for me.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
Okay.
But I'm gonna pull up our Instagram real quick, and we've got 2,900 subscribers. And 89 posts. So it's really just like if we go to a local business, we'll just take like a 1 minute long video and clip it all together and say, here's the local barbecue shop. You should go get this sandwich. It's been great. And that's really all it's been. Now, and then we'll have, a lot of those businesses will then in return share our post that we did. So that's been straight organic. We actually had a chance to buy, there's an Instagram page in Mount Juliet that's got like 11,000 subscribers, and they wanted to sell it to us for like 20 grand. And so we said no, because we were
That's
like,
crazy.
we'll probably be there by the end of the year. I mean, Lord willing, like we'll probably have to get a little more creative with partnering with a local influencer, or maybe boosting some posts or something like that, and doing some giveaways. We haven't done really any giveaways on social media. But I was like, we'll probably be at like 11 grand by the end of the year. So pass. But
yeah, I mean, 20 grand. Geez, if they were going to say $500, I was going to say it's maybe at $500.
Yeah.
Because you don't even know if those are real. If there's so many ways to game that system, right? They could be fake, but
right.
Yeah.
Right. But
okay.
So, and then one thing we were talking about video, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about this idea? So we only send out a newsletter once a week on Tuesday mornings. All right. I thought it would be cool if the 3 of us almost created like a faux talk show kind of thing. All right. That we send out on like Thursdays. Like find another way to send one more piece of content out throughout the week, but it's in a different form. And give me your honest feedback here.
Yeah.
It's a video form, right? where it's almost like we run through the newsletter together. Like, John, what was your favorite event of this week? Or what are you looking forward to? Amber, where are you going to take the kids this week? Alex, was this section easy to write or hard to write? Did you have to do a lot of digging or what? Like, and we're cutting up and having a good time, but we try to make it like 5 minutes long, and it almost turns into like a talk show kind of thing. And it's one more way the reader can fall in love with not just the brand, but the 3 people writing the newsletter. Also, it's another way to get in front of them one more time in the week and monetize somehow, right?
So
Thoughts?
my thought is, I love it. I think this is killer. I think I love it. I think you should combine this with the other one and have it be 2 different shows, right, on your same channel, right? You almost have a real estate show and a whatever you call it, non-real estate show. I think this is freaking killer. And the key being, yes, to short, say sub 5 minutes, and B, think about it as just analyzing what was in the newsletter. Like you said, right? Okay. Right. What event are you most excited about? What looks the most fun? Hey, that news story about, this restaurant coming in. Are you excited about that? Oh, I love Greek food. Yeah. That sounds
That's
killer.
just like that's almost just like our teleprompter of kind of what do we do next. But we could get off script and like,
don't have a script. No
no
script.
Friends, so we would just be hanging out and chatting.
That's literally it. I would say though, my instinct is to say, do not make it about the newsletter. Like, don't talk about how much work it took you to do or like how you came up with the newsletter. It's solely like you are a resident who sees what's going on in Mount Juliet because of this newsletter. What do we think about it as a resident? That's it. I mean, you can acknowledge that you made it,
it's
but like
the Michael Strahan and Ryan. Well, I can't think of the dude's name, but it's like that. It's like a morning talk show kind of thing.
A 5 minute a week talk show about what's going on and referencing your newsletter. Dude, I think it's a great idea. That's actually making me think that that's something that we should do.
Because there's your Instagram. There's your Instagram.
And it's Instagram. That's exactly right. So now you're putting out more content on social. I think the only pushback I would have, because you're right about needing 2 newsletters a week. I need to, everybody should be doing more. One is, I think, just not a good strategy, because not only does it lower the potential ad revenue, it also, I think you want to build your brand by making your readers more aware of you. And once a week is like, yes, it's a habit, but it's not burning into them. What is this brand and why do I care? Once a week is not common enough. But what I would say is, yes, this could be in, the Thursday newsletter or whatever, but I think you'd want more than just that. I wouldn't send a newsletter with just that. Here's one strategy you could do is just say, hey, start doing, Mondays and Thursdays or Tuesdays and Fridays or something, and have the Monday one be events from Monday to Thursday, and then have the Friday one be events from Friday to Sunday.
We thought about
that would be another strategy.
People want to know the events for that weekend 5 days
further in advance. That's another. Yeah. What we do, by the way,
like when we thought about this, we were like, okay, we'll literally just send an email that says like, it's got like 3 sentences as like, hey, hope you look like happy Friday. The Mount Juliet Buzz team wanted a, here's the Mount Juliet Buzz, talk show. I don't know what we'll call it. And literally it's just the YouTube thumbnail sponsored by X. And like, that's it. So,
I mean, it might be worth trying. I, again, have not done this.
Merch at the bottom.
Merch. Yeah. I think it probably need to be around a long time before I think merch is a good idea. But I'm not saying not to try it. Maybe you should try that and see how it goes. I would just be a little concerned that because essentially you're sending an email with no value if somebody doesn't watch the video, right? So if they don't watch a 5-minute video, they're getting nothing from the email. And I think realistically, maybe 10%, probably on the high end, 20% of people would want to watch a video like this. So theoretically, you just send 80% of people an email with 0 value. So that would be my only downside to that. But just think up other creative stuff you could throw in there too. It doesn't have to be the event thing. That was just an idea there. What else can you throw in there?
Listen, the main point of that is to become defensible against if AI wanted to come do a newsletter in this area.
100%. Yep.
So like they would be like, why would we want this AI newsletter? We love Alex, John, and Amber.
That's exactly what you want. You're 100% right about that.
So so like that's the point of the video. Okay. So if the point of the video, we know the point of the video, but like sending it through email might not be the best medium to send it to them.
No, I think you should. I think you should. I just think you don't want an email to only be that.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Because then I was thinking like, well,
yeah.
crap, how else could that exist? It's just not emailed to them.
No, I think you should. I think you should.
Okay.
Like what I showed you with my podcast thing, here's what I would do. Again, this is what I want to do. I actually might take your idea here and run with it. Is if you had a Tuesday, Thursday email or whatever, you have a similar section in both. They get used to seeing videos in every single email toward the bottom. One is real estate. One is whatever, the non-real estate one. And so every email you send toward the bottom, there's the, hey, watch the video of us.
There's not enough content though in the city of Mount Juliet to do a Tuesday, Friday. Like,
could there be though? Because I worry about this too. But if you're making the content, like I see your point of, okay, there's not enough news, there's not enough things technically going on, but could you make enough content to make it justify both?
Yeah,
if you tried, if you really, really put effort, if you had to, right? What if you just a way to think about this?
Probably split up the newsletter.
That's what I was about to say. If you say, hey, we have to do it twice a week.
More on like, here are the events coming up, and then Fridays could be more like, because we've got like a volunteer spotlight section, we've got a news section, we've got a like a picture of the week. Someone from the community sends in a picture of the week, so maybe it's like, Tuesdays are events heavy, right? And then Friday is your news and your everything else, basically.
No, that's literally what I think you should do. I 100% was going to say split it up so that in a way you're not actually having to make more content. You're just, each newsletter is shorter. And by the way, that could even be better. I worry about this with my own newsletter, which is another reason we have to break it up. Our newsletter is really long. And even though I think it's really good.
Has Beehive told you yet, hey, you've got too many graphics and stuff? We've ran into a couple times where like there's like a space, like we ran out of space. Like the newsletter said, like Beehive literally said, you got like too many images or graphics or stuff in here. So we had to go like take some stuff out. Yes,
we run into that every single week, but it tells you in Beehive, it tells you if you're going to go over. So we know.
Yeah. Before you send it, it'll tell you.
Yeah. Every week. That's why, again, we need to like break it up. And that's why I keep telling my wife, like, she just doesn't want to take on the extra work of having to worry about it twice a week instead of once a week. I get it.
Yeah.
So it is more work, but if you're using the same amount of content, you're just splitting it up. Not only do you not run into that Beehive problem because you don't want to get cut off, but number two, as a reader, I'd rather read for 1 or 2 minutes twice a week than 5 minutes once a week. Like it's easier.
Well, dude, that could be our like excuse to changing it to twice a week was like, hey, our email service provider, like we're running out of room. So now we're being forced to send it twice a week. Yeah.
Oh, I don't think you need to
lie. It's true. Like it's true.
Well, it's true.
But like,
I don't even think you have to say it. Say, hey, we got, you guys are loving this so much. We wanted to go to twice a week because now we're making this new show where we're talking about everything happening in the area. Actually, you're gonna make both shows, right? Man, I think this is a killer idea, and I would love for you to do this. I want to see how it goes because I think more people should be doing that.
Not all three of us were on board with that idea, so we kind of landed on like, let's film one and just see if it's super cringe or not, and if it's like unbearable to watch, then we'll be like, okay, we tried.
But cringe is cool now, right?
Job, like all three normal people who like to just goof off. So like, I think it would turn into like a normal fun thing. But yeah,
I think
we landed on.
I think the first one probably will suck because you're all going to be nervous and stuff. And then by the time you get to 4 or 5 or 6, then you're going to be like relaxed and not care. And it'll be much, much better.
Well, how are you focusing on monetizing and stuff? Because we've even been like, should we buy a skate rink? Like we're thinking crazy with.
What do you mean by? What are you talking about?
Well, there's not a skate rink in Mount Juliet, so like we would love to like start a skate rink. Like we're just getting outside of the box with like.
Oh, you're talking about like starting a whole business, like a physical business? Oh, okay. I haven't been thinking that big yet.
Yeah. Now, not seriously thinking about it. Like we're not out looking for leases, but we thought like
wandering.
Yeah, pondering.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, so I think about what you're describing to me as my more longer term vision. I'm not stressed about that at all. Short term, I'm not worried about that. But one of the things I would think about if you were going to go that route is what businesses won't be affected by AI, because that for anybody who's really digging in AI, it's going to have a much bigger impact than most people are ready to admit yet,
Right.
and soon. So
I agree.
number one, what won't AI impact, which is of course anything physical, right? Like, so I would lean toward probably home services.
Yeah.
And then number two, I would lean toward things that everybody needs frequently, right? And so that's the one downside I think of your business and the real estate selling is,
yeah, it's once every 7 years.
it's
That's the
so
data.
rare, even though it's super high value and you make a ton of money, it's so rare that even if people like you, they can't do business with you,
Yeah.
right? Because they're not
No, I
moving,
agree.
especially today with rates and stuff. So what kind of businesses do people frequently need and also generally are not very good, or like, so here's my first one, and I'm actually working with somebody to do a local newsletter for this exact reason. He owns a lawn care company.
Yeah.
So I don't know where you live, but here it's like everybody needs lawn care, and most businesses that do this don't do a good job. Like, I can barely get a hold of the guy who does mine. Like, literally.
Yeah.
He cut my grass 3 weeks ago, and he never even sent me the bill or talked
We got
to
a
me.
home
Like,
over in Chattanooga. The grass needed mowed. I bet I called 8 of the top people, and
yeah.
3 answered, but like it was like I could tell it was like a Google Voice kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
I
So-
completely agree.
So businesses like that, the other one, again, well, here's the downside,
Are
right?
you going to be the operator though?
No, that's what I'm saying. I do not want to be the operator. So you can also do things like try to partner with somebody to say, hey, I'm going to generate leads for you. I'm going to be your marketing
So we're
arm.
doing
Give
that.
me. No, I'm not doing that yet. I'm talking to somebody about doing this.
No. We are.
Oh, you are? Oh, cool. Tell me.
The guy who owns the Facebook group is a big insurance player here in the area, and they have a commercial insurance department. And any closing that we generate for the commercial side, there's some sort of something. I would call it what you want, affiliate or something. But it's one of those things where it's like we're super grateful for the opportunity, but it's like how many closings actually come from that? Because our typical reader's probably like a 40, 50-year-old, I mean, just statistically, 40, 50-year-old woman in our city is like, how many of them are actually going to need a commercial insurance? So
not many.
Right. But I mean, we're still grateful for the opportunity, and it's our first like affiliate kind of thing. But yeah, like we thought about trying to get with like a roofer to do that.
Roofing is a good one. Yeah.
But you're saying you would lean towards that, or you would lean towards starting one and just having the operator, like having an operator?
Well, I mean, that's all just depends on where you're at in life and if you're capable, how much risk, time, there's a lot of plays in there. I mean, I would of course say starting with, some sort of partnership, some sort of, you don't want to do, here's my general take on this is you don't want to do what I think you just said you're doing, which is basically pay per lead. Hey, whatever I send you, give me a cut of it, because the value of the newsletter, especially for stuff like insurance and what you guys are doing, real estate and maybe even roofing, is the brand awareness, right? If you're constantly talking about a roofing company, they are getting a ton of value from that. And those people may not call that roofing company based like by clicking on your ad.
Yeah.
So if they see this roofer 10 times and then something happens to their roof and they Google, or they're like, who do I know? Oh yeah, that one company, and they Google it and they call
trace
them.
it back to us.
They're not going to trace it back to you, even though you're providing insane amount of value. So
unless there was like a 20% discount, you have to click here.
True, but that doesn't work for stuff like roofing. Like, you're right, that could work for like cleaning. Hey, we'll come clean your house the first time for 50% off. I'm thinking about this a lot, by the way, of what products can have a really like customer stay at for a very long time. So a high LTV, yet it's cheap enough that somebody could actually do it for free or dirt cheap the first time to get people in the door. Because then you could go, let's say cleaning houses is, no, that's not a good one. Pest control is the obvious one, right?
Yeah.
So pest control companies make a ton of money over a long period of time, but it only, how much does it cost them to go show up and do pest control once? I don't know.
Oh, they'll
$40.
lose money to hire door-to-door salesmen.
Yep. exactly. So I'm
Just to acquire
thinking,
a customer knowing it'll take 12 months to make the money back, but then it's their customer for life because who
that's
wants to
right.
quit pest control companies?
So the idea would be, and I actually know one of my buddies is a pest control, and I haven't brought this up to him yet. But the idea is, if you put an ad in that just says, "Look, your first pest control, we'll come out and do it for free to show you how good we are." They know they're going to close, say, 50% of those people. If they close 50%, blah blah blah, it was worth them to do it for free. And then now I need to get paid, or we need to have some sort of partnership arrangement. So there's still some things to work out there, but if you can find the businesses that can do things for free or dirt cheap that would make somebody want to click, that's super valuable. And I need people to start thinking about this. If anybody has a good idea about this, please let me know, because I want to
Yeah, I mean,
incorporate.
I've thought about I tweeted this the other day. I said, "Hey X, you own a local newsletter. Do you start a Christmas light company?" And I had mixed
Yeah.
people. I was really just testing the waters. I'm not opposed to it, but I'm not like gun ho like, oh, I'm doing this. But it's because like I'm trying to get my wheels turning on. Okay, what
Yeah.
can we go partner with? What can we start?
Mm-hmm.
Like that Ryan Snedden dude. He has a luxury portable
Yeah.
restroom
Yep.
business,
Yep.
right? So it's like stuff like that. Um, we're trying to do the same thing,
Yeah.
right?
And I think, by the way, to your point, the Christmas light example is one of the few good examples that you could do the click, like pay per lead. And the reason is because it's such a short term, this only works in whatever, November. People, it's hard to find somebody who does that, who's marketing it well. So it is possible if you have it in there. Hey, Christmas light installation. If you mention Mount Juliet Buzz, we'll give you 25% off. Click here. You might actually get a lot of people to click that. And so and then you could
Like
charge
they
per
might
lead.
not make as much money the first Christmas,
That's
but
right.
like
They
the
will going
second
forward.
Christmas, now they got the
Yep.
customer.
Yep. Yep. And you could even do, my first million was talking about this too, and we have these in my neighborhood. Some people have them, the like permanent Christmas lights where they're really just like nice lights in general. You could even offer that, find the contractor who does it, say, hey, instead of paying somebody $500 to come do this, pay, 3,000, but it's there forever. And it make your house beautiful 365 days a year. That could be another play. I just don't love that generally in the sense that only works for 1 month out of the year, right? So like I'm trying to
Really,
think.
that's why I like it.
Well, it's good to do in that month, but we're in March right now, so I'm like I need to find more things to do right now before March.
I'm talking about from a business owner standpoint. Like I would love to
Yeah.
have a seasonal business where I chill
Oh,
most
I
of the
see.
year,
Yep.
and then I just go like gun ho for like 2 months, and then I make all my money in 2 months,
Yeah.
and then I chill for the other.
Yeah.
Like
No, Christmas lights could be a great one for that. Snow plow for people up in the Midwest.
not in
Um,
Tennessee, yeah.
yeah, man. Well, hey, we talked about a lot of stuff. Is there anything you want to share with
Yeah, I
anybody?
want to pick your brain
Ideas,
on one more
takeaways?
thing. One
Yeah,
more
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
There's this idea going around X right now. This dude named Gunnar Holmes on X.
Yeah, I
right?
know. Yeah.
He got 12 businesses to pay him. What was it? $500 a month, and now he's got $6,000 of mailbox money coming in. And those are the only 12 businesses that can advertise with him for 12 months. So they lock in a 12-month membership with him. It does several things. One, it stops you from chasing the next ad,
Yes.
the next sponsor.
Yep.
And two, it creates a ton of exclusivity if
Yep.
you're not a part of the 12, right? So it's like, crap, we need to be a part of the Mount Juliet Buzz 2026, January through December. And if we're not, we can't advertise with them until 2027? Holy crap, we better do this. How do you have enough, like, oh, you'll get this and this and this and this and this to justify $500? Go. That's what we're trying to think about.
So I have a lot of thoughts on this. I'll try to make it relatively quick, but this is a great point. So I've heard a lot of the guys have done this successfully. The guy who sold the Charlotte, he had a Charlotte one, and I believe he talks about doing this kind of thing. So again, it makes perfect sense. I want to do this as well. I've been talking about doing this. The hard part of this is obviously that you're asking for a lot of money. I think, yeah, you're right. It was $500 a month per business, right? Because it was, I think, between 7 and 12 grand is what these guys asked for a year, right? So this is completely viable in most cases, in general. But you have to go after the big dogs with the big
Yeah.
budgets, right?
Yeah.
So, and the problem with the guys with the big budgets are it's hard to get in front of the right person who actually makes these kind of decisions. The other problem with it is, and again, it's good. I'm literally going to try to do this, but I would urge you to think about, and anybody to think about it this way. If you want to go after this, especially let's say in your case, you're at 4,000, it's not worth it to them at that size, right? Most likely
Yeah,
it's
I
not
agree
worth
with
it.
that.
So,
Yeah.
but you do want to get like which one comes first, right? And so what you can pitch is, hey, if I'm in the next month or whatever, I'm going to get at least 8 businesses to sign up to do this. You get to be exclusive in your industry. I am going to get this newsletter to 15,000 by the end of the year. So even though I only have 4,000 right now, literally I'm going to take the money from you and invest in growth and get this thing to 15,000. Then when it comes time to renew, so this will be worth it for you, this year, because your grant, the max I will increase your rate is, I don't make up whatever, 20%, something like that. Even though my goal is to get to 15,000, 20,000, 30, whatever, however big your area is, so that if you're going after the big dogs with a lot of money and they want that exclusivity, you're pitching the exclusivity and you're pitching that you are partnering with me to be the go-to source for media here for the next 10 years. And you're betting on me. And here's my promise on you betting on me. I am going to spend this money to get to 15,000. Then you only have a small increase and you get to lock it up, right? It's almost like the exclusivity in year 2 is the bigger play.
Yeah.
Right. Cause it's like, okay, right now, and you don't care if your roofing competitor gets it. But when I have 15,000 and the whole town is talking about it next year, your competitor cannot get it because you're just going to pay me again, maybe up to 20% increase. And you're locking your competitor out. And so from what I've heard is that in the bigger industries, that is very important to them, is to like lock their competitors out. Right.
Yeah.
So that would be the pitch. And then of course you just got to go after the high LTV businesses. So roofers, probably the big, you may already know the insurance one, although, so insurance it has to be P&C though, like for regular people, not just commercial. So insurance person. Another one that I've heard that's really good, I should do a post or something about this, is it was on my last podcast from Billy. He brought it up. Med spas. You already mentioned it. Who is the typical reader of a local newsletter? Women 35 to 60, right? Well, who is the ideal client for a med spa, right? So med spas is probably a great one to go after. I would say mortgage and real estate, but you already got those handled. Attorneys, personal injury attorneys, maybe, marriage attorneys, a little questionable. How do you market them without being a little weird?
Well, like dentists and
dentists, a big one.
We got an orthopedic place here, so
like
different places
chiropractor.
Like yeah.
And then some of the big home services. We already said roofer, like HVAC, custom home builders. They get one deal and they 5x their money, 10x their money on what they paid you from one deal. So again, this is literally what I'm going to be trying to do if I can get my time to do this. Is you just got to be proactive to those companies. And this is where a lot of people get this wrong, is like the inbound that comes in most of the time are the people you have to chase, right? Which is who you don't generally want to deal with. So you have to proactively go find those ideal advertisers.
Yeah.
Makes sense? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah. But I definitely want to dig in more on this, because the questions you're asking, first of all, I'm asking them myself. This is the challenge, right? This is the biggest challenge everybody's having. I have a newsletter now. Everybody sign up. And yes, newsletter about newsletters, of course. But, I'm asking people, what's your challenge, right? And everybody's replying, how do I monetize? How do I monetize? Like, this is the big problem. And so I'm hopefully going to start working on this, not only because I need to make some money from this, but also I can share what's working and what's not. And I'm hoping what we just went over is the solution.
Yeah.
So,
I'd say the first thing that we're going to try to do after this is try to figure out a way to expand into several cities outside without having to worry about rebranding, because we can't rebrand. That's not something we're doing.
Just rebrand the subtitle. I think that's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally. I think you should do. Yeah. My advice from what I know and from what you said, I think you should do that. And then I love these show ideas. I think this is killer. I mean, maybe just start with one, do one first. Don't try to do them both at the same time. Just do one, see how it goes, see how it feels. And then if it's working and you're liking it and you kind of get some value, do the second one.
Yeah. While splitting up the newsletter.
And I would also say split up the newsletter immediately. Don't wait for your shows for that. You should just do that anyway.
Yeah.
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 You got 3 people working on this. Hope you're not technically adding much more content. It should be viable to just do the same thing you're doing, just put them in 2 different posts in Beehive.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Man, cool. Yeah. I learned a lot. Thank you, man.
Well, of course, I learned from you, man. This is great. That's why I love doing this. I get to learn from people with some great ideas too. So, good luck to you. And let's do this again when you hopefully start integrating some of this stuff. I'd love to hear how it went and how things are going down the road. So awesome.
Down.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks so much, Alex.
All right.
All right, everybody.
Man.
We'll talk later.
See ya.
See ya.